At 2 a.m., the man was inventorying supplies in an underground bunker. Suddenly, the citywide emergency broadcast blared to life. The government announced that a virus had spread globally and urged all citizens to seek shelter immediately. He had rented this bunker 3 months in advance, and stockpiled enough supplies to last 30 years. But what he didn't know was that the origin of the virus was right in his own neighborhood. Suddenly, from outside the blast door, came the gut-wrenching screams of the property management staff. The steel door had been breached. A putrid stench seeped through the crack. He instinctively stepped back, but then looked down and saw his wrist had been scratched by a cooler box. The blood seeping out was black. The moment the broadcast countdown hit 0, the entire city went dark. The emergency lights inside the bunker cast long shadows from the supplies on the shelves. The man clenched his bleeding wrist tightly. He found the first aid kit stashed on the bottom shelf, the highest grade epidemic gear he had prepared in advance. He used a tourniquet to stop the blood flow, then unscrewed a bottle of hydrogen peroxide and poured the whole thing over the wound. He followed up with iodine, rinsing it repeatedly. Only when the blood seeping out turned bright red did he wrap the wound in sterile gauze. Then he examined his pupils in a mirror. 1 minute passed, no dilation. 3 minutes passed, no convulsions or fever. That meant he wasn't infected. Then his gaze fell on the cooler box that had scratched him. The metal seal was broken. Dark blood was slowly leaking out. Only then did he realize the black blood on his wound had actually come from the box, not from his body. He put on disposable gloves and opened the lid to check inside. A stench mixed with rot and disinfectant hit him. The imported beef inside had turned black and was contaminated. Between several ice packs was a crushed glass vial. Part of its label was still intact, with a few readable words, a virus strain sample from the city hospital. It hit him instantly. The delivery driver who had brought his beef had also been transporting virus samples for the hospital, and there had been a leak. That meant he had personally brought the virus into his doomsday fortress 3 months ago. The global spread mentioned in the broadcast hadn't come out of nowhere. The virus had already leaked from the lab 3 months ago. He immediately locked the cooler box, wrapped it in a sealed bag, and tossed it into the farthest corner of the bunker. Now the top priority was to secure the fortress and survive. He walked to the power room and flipped a switch. The door instantly switched to indestructible mode. Even a car ramming it at full speed couldn't break through. Then he switched the ventilation system to full internal circulation, and installed the highest grade air filters. After all the precautions were done, he walked to the monitor screens. He checked the 30 night vision cameras he had set up in advance. The whole neighborhood had completely changed. People covered in blood came stumbling out of stairwells. They barely made it a few steps before the infected pounced on them. 2 zombies in security uniforms were attacking a resident hiding inside a guard booth. He switched the screen with a blank expression. In his previous life, he and his friend had eaten through all their supplies at home, then risked their lives to escape to this bunker. But in this life, he had prepared everything 3 months ahead. Now he sat in his fully stocked safe room, coldly watching the apocalypse unfold. He switched the feed to the bunker's main entrance. 3 zombies stood outside. The one in the lead was the property manager, his appearance barely human anymore. He was clawing at the door trying to break in. Behind him followed 2 cleaning ladies, their nails leaving deep scratches on the steel plate. In his previous life, the property manager had been bitten and killed while trying to protect the elderly and children. And in this life, he had also become a zombie. He turned off the monitor sound, leaned back in his chair, and let out a long sigh. The neighborhood had completely fallen. But inside the bunker, he had more than enough supplies to last a lifetime. As long as he never went out, he was absolutely safe.